Shalom lekulam. Shalom lekulam. Peace to everybody, and welcome to the Hebrew Foundations Workshop. Shemi Yoel Ben Israel. My name is Yoel Ben Israel, and I'm going to be walking you through the Hebrew Foundations Workshop. Let's dive right into it, shall we? We shall. So, the Hebrew Foundations Workshop, here is an overview. In the opening, I'm going to articulate why Hebrew foundations matter. In chapter one, or the body of this presentation, I'm going to be engaging 6 inquiries about the Hebrew language. And in closing, I'm going to extend the invitation, the warm invitation to the Hebrew Foundations course. And then at the end, if you all have any questions or commentary, I would love for you all to put it down in the comment section because I would love to hear your feedback regarding the Hebrew Foundations workshop and if it has been a blessing to you, definitely as well. All right, let's continue. Kadima. So, in opening, why are Hebrew foundations important? So, foundations, they are essential. Hebrew foundations are essential, and it is an indispensable, instrumental part of learning the Hebrew language. So, in order for someone to make any progress learning a language, he or she must have a strong foundation. What does this even mean, though? In order to graduate to higher levels of language mastery, to go from a beginner or a novice to having to an intermediate and then to an advanced student, an expert in a language, specifically, we're talking about Hebrew, one must master the fundamentals of the language. But when a learner has mastered the elementary principles or the rudimentary rules of said language, that person can now begin to mature in their learning journey. And this is especially true for the Hebrew language as well. But we run into an existential problem. And I hear this a lot. Many people want to study Hebrew, but they get overwhelmed. Why do people get overwhelmed? For a couple of reasons. One, they try to dive straight into the deep end of the pool, right? They begin with multiple words, full scripture verses in the Hebrew Bible. They try to bite large chunks of Hebrew grammar. They try to bite large chunks of Hebrew grammar altogether. And without having a strong foundation, a strong foundational understanding of the Hebrew language. So this can cause the language to be overwhelming and intimidating to some, but not all. And then you have other people who just say, listen, man, I don't have time, right? I ain't got time to learn a whole new language. English is my language, or insert your native tongue here, and that's all I know. But in conjunction with this, there is a plethora of misinformation online. Can anybody say YouTube? Now, I love YouTube. I'm using it right now. But it can also be a purveyor of misinformation as well. But let's continue. All right, the 6 inquiries about the Hebrew language. Let's go with the first one. Is the Hebrew alphabet an alphabet? Is the Hebrew alphabet an alphabet? Let's see. The Hebrew alphabet, an alphabet? Popular to contrary belief, the Hebrew alphabet is not an alphabet. In actuality, the Hebrew alphabet is an abjad. It's what is called an abjad. That's ABJAD. An alphabet is a writing system where characters represent consonants and vowels explicitly. An abjad is a writing system where each character, like we see over here, the aleph, beit, gimel, dalet, hey, wa, zayin, chet, tet, yod, represents a consonantal sound with the vowels, get this, with the vowels being added audibly by an informed reader via written diacritics. Diacritics are simply marks that surround the grapheme or the character and that attribute to it a specific vocalization, typically a vowel sound, vowel sonics. We see this in Hebrew as well. And abjads are read and written from right to left. So the Hebrew alphabet is an abjad, right? Many people call it an alphabet, but that's not correct. It is more correctly categorized as an abjad, right? Okay, let's continue. Question 2. Is modern Hebrew actually Yiddish or Yiddish? Is modern Hebrew actually Yiddish? Right? So many people, especially within One West, Hebrew Israelism circles, or within the Israelite awakening, would posit and articulate to you that modern Hebrew is actually Yiddish, that Ibrit Madinit is Yiddish or Yiddish. Is this true? Let's see if it's true or not. Modern Hebrew, Yiddish? Many within the Israelite awakening or One West Hebrew Israelism circles say that modern Hebrew or Ibrit Madinit is Yiddish. Is this true? The short answer, it ain't true. No, it's not true. But let's unpack this a bit. So what is Yiddish? Yiddish or Yiddish is a High German language written in the characters of Hebrew or Hebrew characters that is spoken by the Ashkenazim and descendants of Ashkenazim from Central and Eastern European origin. Now, Yiddish or Yiddish belongs to the Indo-European family tree. However, Ibrit Madinit or modern Hebrew belongs to the Afro-Asiatic family tree, specifically the Shemitic branch. Modern Hebrew contains Hebrew words that describe innovations of modernity, right? So what they basically do in modern Hebrew is they'll take the root of a word, like Zelim, for example, and they'll create the word camera. Because when you take a picture with a camera, right, when you get your phone and you get an image. And for computer, they take the root word for think, right? And they implement that word to articulate the innovation of modernity called a computer. Because computers, they compute or they think. So that's what modern Hebrew does. So Yiddish and modern Hebrew, they are not the same because they belong to two totally different family trees, language family trees. Yiddish belongs to the Indo-European family tree, and modern Hebrew belongs to the Afro-Asiatic family tree. Yiddish, specifically, belongs to the Germanic branch of the Indo-European family tree, while modern Hebrew or Ibrit Modernit belongs to the Shemitic branch of a totally different family tree called the Afro-Asiatic family tree. Okay, let's keep rolling. Let's keep flowing and going with this, right? Question number 3. Is Lashawan Kodash authentic Hebrew? That's right. Boo. Is Lashawan Kodash authentic Hebrew? That's right. Let's see, shall we? We shall see. Is Lashawan Kodash pristine or pure Hebrew? So Lashawan Kodash was innovated in 1969 Anno Domini, AD, by a high priest called Ariah, son of Yaquab, in 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York City. Now, Lashawan Kodash is promoted by 1 West Hebrew Israelism Camp, ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Lashawan Kodash teaches this, that the Hebrew language is it exclusively contains only 2 vowel classes. The A class vowel predominantly, what we see here on the chart to the left, the A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ha, Ta, Ya, Ka, right? And the I class vowel being attributed to the Hebrew letter Ayin. That's why they say Yahweh Shah, right? Let's continue. Lashawan Kodash is not authentic Hebrew. It's not authentic biblical Hebrew by a long shot. True biblical Hebrew, true Ibrit Mikrait, predates the 1969 Lashawan Kodash innovation. True biblical Hebrew, or Ibrit Mikrait, came on the scene circa 1200 BCE, not AD, 1200 BCE to 200 BCE. True biblical Hebrew, or Ibrit Mikrait, and I'm saying biblical Hebrew specifically because Lashawan Kodash claims, or proponents of Lashawan Kodash claim, that Lashawan Kodash is the earliest iteration of the Hebrew language. And I will submit that that is not the case at all. But true authentic biblical Hebrew contains not just an A vowel, but the E vowel, I class vowel, O class vowel, and U class vowels. Since Hebrew contains the A, E, I, O, and U class vowels, this brings audible clarity to diphthong vocalization. Diphthong simply means that when 2 vowels are juxtaposed together in a word, it creates a sound, a sonic sound, or a phonetic sound. And since biblical Hebrew, authentic biblical Hebrew, contains all 5 of these vowel classes, A, E, I, O, and U, this helps to bring audible clarity to Hebraic homographs. A homograph are words that are spelled the same, but they have different definitions. One example of a Hebrew homograph is Adam. Let's see if I can click on this. Here we go. So, Adam means man, a person, human being, right? You have Adam.
Adam,
But if I scroll down further, Adom
Adom,
means red. But if I scroll down even further, ruby, or a gemstone, a ruby gemstone, pronounced Odem,
Odim,
contains the same 3 Hebrew graphemes, the Aleph, Dalet, and Mem Sofit, but the vowels are different. And this can't be done in Lashawan Kodash because he would only be able to say Adam
Adam,
because it's predominantly containing the A class vowel. And if you were to say, now you could use the I class vowel and get Edam,
Idam,
which means I will be silent, but you wouldn't be able to correctly pronounce red, Adam, or ruby, Odem, right? Okay, let's go back to the presentation. So I'll end it here. This will be part one. The Hebrew language operates on a root and pattern morphology. We'll talk more about that later. It operates on Shodeshim, which are roots, Mishkalim, Ubinyanim. We'll talk about that later. The Hebrew language accurately articulates time and tense, past tense, present tense, and future tense, or things that are happening in futurity, or that will happen in futurity, and voice, if something is in the active voice or the passive voice. This is where binyanim come in, and they articulate what voice something is in to the readership. But I'll stop right here, and we'll pick it up next time in part number 2. So until then, Lahitraot, Shalom Lekulam.